Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we are looking at some Batman Returns cards. Now I know you're thinking, didn't I already see this episode? No. Shockingly, you did not. Now these are Batman Returns cards. We did look at packs of those, granted. Those were in cellophane. These are in wax packs. What you saw were these. Now you'll notice there's some differences here. First of all, these are by O-Pee-Chee, which is a Canadian brand. So that's why these are in English and French, because in, I think, 1985, somebody will correct me, I think it was 85, they were, the Canadian government required everything to be in multiple languages, French and English. So that's why the cards are in bilingual. So, and the most important thing to notice, as far as collecting goes, is the O-Pee-Chee packs only had 5 cards in the pack. These had 8. So not only were you given a different type of wrapping around the card, you also got fewer cards for like the same price. I actually happened to be in Canada when these came out, and I had picked up a couple packs, you know, years and years ago. I just tracked these down recently. I have had tons of these over the years. But I had bought a couple packs. I was like, something's different about these. Sure enough, it was because these were in wax packs and they were bilingual, and I only got 6 cards instead of 9. So these the Topps ones have 8 cards plus the Topps Stadium Club card. These have 5 cards plus 1 insert card. So that's very nebulous. So, otherwise, it's basically the same type of cards. But we're going to compare these to see what they look like. So first we're going to open these up and see what these look like independently of the other ones. So, and another thing to note is that, like on the back of the cellophane ones from America, these have like an ad for like the official collector magazine or a box set. The O-Pee-Chee ones do not do that. They just have the copyright information, copyright 1992, DC Comics, licensed or featured by O-Pee-Chee Company Limited out of London, Canada, and licensee with the Topps Company. So that's it. But we'll see more of that when I get this open. Unless I rip this apart. Alright, so here's the wax paper. It looks like a normal wax pack, except that it does have some French on there. And honestly, the French isn't that much different. Cartes, or Cartes, whatever, you could figure out that's cards. So, let's look at these. First up, we have card number 60 on the campaign trail in full English. Also in English, front card. These do not technically conform to the standard. Then we have number 14, a giant surprise package. Number 74, invading Gotham City. Card number 6, Nightmare as a Child. Then card number 23, Human Flamethrower. Alright, so let's look at our second. Our insert card was card H. And that's Penguin at the cemetery. So let's look at these. Alright, our special card is the laziest card to have as a special card. It is the checklist! How insulting is that? Oh, your insert's a checklist. And that is actually card 89. Wow, I'd be really mad if I'd been a kid buying that. Card number 79, Fury of the Penguin. Card number 76, Battered by Batman. Card number 19, Terror in Gotham Square. Card number 36, The List of Oswald Cobblepot. And lastly, card number 5, Evil Prince of the City. So let me open the other, the American version of this, and see what you can see more appropriately what the difference between the cards are. Like I said, they're supposed to be bilingual. Like, if you look at the Empire Strikes Back cards from O-Pee-Chee in Canada, you will see they're bilingual. Most of them at the time were, but there are other differences as well. I don't think we got any... Oh, Nightmare as a Child. Cool, we got one that's actually the same. Alright, so let's find that card. So, here's the Canadian version. Here's the American version. Front looks identical. There's a distinct color difference on the back, though. So, this has a lot lighter blue color than the American version. Let's see if it says at the bottom anything. Yeah, at the bottom of the lighter color from Canada, it says O-Pee-Chee. This one says Tops. And honestly, the American cards are slightly thicker from the feel of it. They feel a little thicker, a little sturdier. So there is that. But the primary difference is in the special inserts. Now the American ones have these gold foil. And these are photo quality cards. It feels like you're holding a photograph. These are just normal cards. This is not reflective or foil stamped. You should be able to see that in the light. See how the silver kind of reflects a little bit? It doesn't do that with these because these are just normal trading cards. There's nothing special about them. These are the Stadium Club cards. These are not. So the Canadians actually got ripped off on card quality. Not just on the special inserts, but their regular cards are slightly thinner feeling. I'm pretty positive those are thinner. Plus, the checklist counts as an insert, apparently. So, that's the major difference. You'll notice this one's got a black border around it to indicate it's like a chase card or special insert. This one doesn't have anything like that. So there is a noticeable difference between the two. And I've heard that it's like this with a lot of other special stuff that came out around this time for the Canadian cards. And O-Pee-Chee is a big offender of this. It's a slightly inferior company, no slight to them, but they don't produce really high quality stuff. Some of the stuff's same quality, but there is a distinct difference between these two types of cards. And when you're paying about the same amount of money, you're going to want the slightly higher quality. So it's a bit distracting and insulting because the back of the card makes it even more noticeable, because at least the front side has got more of a matte finish. The back side is just plain old cardboard. And you can see the difference in how clear those images are. And you can also see that the border is more striking on here, and Top Stadium Club gives it kind of a uniqueness, and it just says O-Pee-Chee here. So they're actually laid out very similar. This one doesn't have the flare, like the marbling, the faux marbling on it. It doesn't have any of that. This looks like somebody did it in desktop publishing in 1989. So, yeah, the text is harder to read. The image quality is far lower on the Canadian version. So I feel bad for Canadians. They got ripped off because these Stadium Club cards were the coolest thing. They were super awesome to get. And it made you want to go out and buy packs of them, even though they were super expensive compared to normal trading cards. And they had the special insert set, so yeah. But that's what's disappointing. So if you're trying to track these down, I would pick up a couple packs of the Canadian ones just to try and get the comparison down. And you can see for yourself the inferiority of the O-Pee-Chee ones at the time. Because these cards were, even though they haven't aged that well, they're still far superior to these insert ones. And I still say that the Canadian cards are slightly thinner. And the discoloration, that purplish, whatever that is, that magenta, looks awful compared to this red and blue, way more powerful looking colors, and this weird pastel mixture they got going on here. So I don't know why they have the lighter colors here, but it looks kind of tacky and a bit too flamboyant for Batman. Maybe Batman and Robin or Batman Forever, but not Batman Returns. So yeah, that's the main difference I wanted to highlight. There's still decent cards. So if you can get a set of the O-Pee-Chee ones, they're definitely worth picking up because they're decent cards. They're just slightly inferior to the American ones. Plus, if you want a real collectible, these are kind of the way to go because these weren't as widely released. They're harder to find still, and they generally will cost you a little more, even though they are somewhat inferior, especially on these insert cards, because you don't see a lot of sets of these around. You see a whole lot of these around. But if you're a real Batman fan or freak or collector, whatever, this is something you'll want to add to your collection because the chase cards were a little bit harder to track down. And yeah, there were 89 cards in the set of regular cards, and for some reason the checklist counts as an insert. I don't understand that. But there was A through J of the special, well, not quite so special, black border cards. I don't know why they bothered with these, honestly, because it's a slap in the face to the fans. But that is really the main points I wanted to make. It's a great collectible if you're a big Batman fan. If you're not a huge Batman addict, then I don't really see the attraction in them. I would just go with the American ones and just buy a set online. The O-Pee-Chee ones are going to be a lot harder to track down as a set compared to the American Topps version. So yeah, these are great from a historical standpoint, but little else. So it's a great novelty, though. I like Canada a lot. It's a really great country, but they really got hosed on this one. But generally speaking, O-Pee-Chee does a pretty solid job. They're just not quite Topps, is unfortunately the fact of it. Plus, I don't know why they didn't have the Stadium Club card. Probably because it's Topps Stadium Club, and they didn't want to have O-Pee-Chee Stadium Club for some reason. But that is kind of what you can expect to get out of the Batman Returns 5-card plus 1 insert card from O-Pee-Chee from 1992. Yeah, it's a fascinating collectible. It really is. It's an interesting contrast of American versus Canadian products. So that's going to wrap this one up. You can see the difference between the two things. I do like the wax packs better than the cellophane. If you're a collector, these are going to hold up way better than this crappy plastic. This tears horribly easily. The wax paper holds up better, even if it does feel a little weird. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of What's Inside.